I did it again. You know, sometimes in life, you reach a point where you want to get better. You want to achieve goals, taking a new life challenge to go over the top. And that happened to me a few months ago after watching this video.
My family and I have moved a bajillion times. This is my 11th home studio.
Yes, this is Joe Gilder from Home Studio Corner and most recently The Recording Revolution, bragging about his 11th studio. Yeah, that is quite impressive, to be honest. It must be a kind of a record. So I needed to find a way to beat Joe's record somehow, and I think I did. By moving and set up a studio twice in less than 6 months. Try to beat that, Joe Gilder. Hey, don't worry, I'm very good friends with Joe Gilder, so check out his 2 YouTube channels that I'm gonna link down below. So yes, this is my second move in less than 6 months. So let me explain how that happened. First, I used to live in the province of Quebec, Canada, where I built my first project studio, producing and mixing more than 80 albums for French independent artists in Canada and Europe for the past 20 years. Yeah, because I started back in 2003. Wow. I'm getting old. So at some point we decided to make a big move, sell the house, and move out Western Canada in Calgary, Alberta. And we've been here since last fall. So we rented a house for the last 6 months just to give us time to buy our new house, which we did not too long ago. So that's why I set myself up a temporary studio in that rental house, and now I just installed and set up my new home studio that I'm gonna work in for hopefully the next several years. Now you're gonna notice that it looks pretty much the same as what I had in the rental house. And the reason is simple. I wanted to set myself up very quickly so I can just start working as soon as possible. But I also did something different, which I'm gonna show you later. But for now, this is gonna be the setup I'm gonna work in for some time, and I'm gonna evaluate what needs to be done before working on a studio makeover. And that is going to be quite interesting. And I don't know when the studio makeover is going to come, but when I do, you'll be the first to know. So let's go back to the beginning and show you around. So this is it. This is the place. I also have this extra room, which is a den, they call it, which is a very small room. That could be a vocal booth. It could be like a kind of a multi-purpose type of room. It could be a podcast studio, which I'm actually thinking of. More on that later, I guess. So that can serve for several types of things. So I kind of see this room as a multi-purpose room. Now my plan is very simple. I need to set myself up as fast as possible. Like I told you in my last studio tour video when I set myself into the rental place 6 months ago, I kept things very simple. So I used pretty much the same layout as I had in my older studio. And this is exactly what I'm planning to do for this one to start up. So this is gonna be the studio build phase 1, because I have plans for the future, but for now, my goal is to set myself up ASAP. So that means no time for equipment upgrades like my studio desk. I'm just gonna use the same cheap IKEA top on my stand-up frame, and this is gonna be it. You know, I'm gonna use the same panels that I had on my walls in the other studio, which is pretty much these ones right here, which I'm just gonna lay down on the walls. But I'm actually planning very soon to build my own acoustic panels, use the same material and put it in the nice frame, place them properly so they perform and look better. And let me know down below if you want me to do a video on how I'm gonna build those panels. So the question is, how long is it gonna take me to set up my full studio? By using the same layout, same material, same gear. So I'm gonna track my time setting up the studio with an application on my phone. So every time I'm working the studio this week, I'm gonna start the timer on the application I'm using, which is called Toggle, which is pretty great for time tracking. And that will show me how much time it's gonna take me total to set myself in this new space. So let's check it out. So it basically took me 10 hours and 43 minutes to set the whole studio, which is not that bad. It's actually pretty fast. Now, the new thing that I added in my control room are my drums. I decided to bring my drums in my main room, which is quite nice. So now it looks more like a production room / mixing room. So the room serves different purposes. So this is perfect for my needs. And I'm gonna experiment more in the near future about how I'm gonna work with these drums. Like right now, I have like the quiet type of setup, more as a practice tool. So I'm using quiet skins and cymbals, which is perfect for practicing. But I want to experiment more with drum triggers in the future, and maybe find a way to use the triggers with CUBASE and drum samples and stuff. So anyways, this is the stuff that I'm kind of brainstorming about right now. And of course, I'm gonna mic this drum up and to see how it sounds like in this room. It's gonna be quite interesting. It's a smaller size room for drum recording, and that is gonna make this process interesting since I'm used to record drums in a bigger room. So at the back of the studio, I have my bass traps that are mainly laying on the back wall, also with a diffuser. That is a homemade diffuser that I was using in my older studio. And I decided just to put it at the same place as it was in my old studio in this one, and it works pretty well. And the good looking panels that I have at the back, on top and underneath the diffuser are from UA Acoustics. I kind of like the look of them, but I wanted them to be just a bit more performant as far as the absorption goes. So I just added an extra layer of panels behind these panels. The rest of the room has my old acoustic panels. Again, nothing is screwed on the walls. Everything is just laying down there for now. Now, my first project is going to be to build proper, good-looking acoustic panels. Now, a new addition to my setup, and I had that unit before, but I just decided to add it to the rack mount in this studio, and that is the Roland RE101 Space Echo, which is an old vintage mono delay that actually sounds pretty good. And I'm planning on experimenting more with this unit. So that's why I added on top of all the other gear. And I think it might be the time to get an extra rack mount unit, because, you know, it's starting to get full here. So this is the phase 1 Mixdown Online home studio. So there's lots of work ahead, like installing a proper door to close that room, removing the carpet, replace that with hardwood or something. You know, I just hate carpet, especially in the studio. I also have plans to build a very nice bass trap at the back of my room and also at the front corners, which for now are only temporary bass traps. So it's exciting. I'm happy to be back working the studio. It's been like a crazy last 6 months, to be honest with you. You know, shopping for a home, working on my music, working on the YouTube channel, working for a new home. So it was hard to keep up with everything since this was going at the same time. But now I'm back. It's very exciting, and I'm looking forward to the future. So if you want to know more about the gear that I'm using in this studio, just look at my last studio tour video where I talk about the gear that I work with on a daily basis in my home studio. Leave your questions and comments down below. Don't forget to share and to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. Until next time, take care and see you.